Welcome back to In Business. We've been talking to you about higher food prices. Well, they're here to stay, according to the International Monetary Fund. The IMF says it will take years for farmers to expand production to keep up with demand and drive down costs. So how are manufacturers and retailers adjusting? Let's ask David Donnan. He's a partner at Kearney who works with some of the world's biggest retailers, restaurant chains, and food manufacturers. So, David, you really are working where the rubber meets the road, because you see what consumers like me are going to have to pay.
Right.
And you say this summer, get ready. We're going to see a price spike.
Many of the commodity prices we've seen peak up in the last 3-4 months have been on long-term contracts with the major food manufacturers. So whether it's corn or it's wheat or soya, any of the oils, the contracts will start coming to an end, and you're going to see the food prices come through to the grocery store, to the restaurant chains by probably this summer.
Because the manufacturers are going to have to refresh their stock and have to pay those higher prices themselves.
Now, no manufacturer, retailer, or restaurant wants to put higher prices out to consumer, given that we're still in an economic situation we are, right, even with the jobless rates going up. So they're looking at a variety of innovative ways to keep those costs as low as they can, to try to mitigate some of those commodity price increases.
And what's a prime way they're doing that? Because the fear is always you're going to hurt your own margins.
Right. I mean, the first thing to do is what we consider decoupling all the costs. Wheat prices may go up, but they only represent one portion of the total food cost: transportation cost, the manufacturing costs, conversion costs, the marketing costs, the overhead costs. So really, by taking apart and doing reverse engineering on your different product lines, you can find out what are the real commodity impacts on those food products and make sure that you're indexing those commodity prices. But everything else has not changed. Labor costs have not gone up. In fact, automation costs have gone down because of lower capital costs. So those things tend to mitigate the pricing.
One thing we heard from the UN yesterday was that warning food prices are already at record highs, but now oil and gas, as you just said,
yes,
that transportation factor is going to make the spike go up even higher.
That's right. And so it may mean for a lot of consumers driving less of a distance to their store, but again, going to their grocery store or restaurant locally is going to be an option for them as well. And that's part of the overall sense of how to redesign products, how to look at products to really hit those price points for those consumers.
You know, we've seen some of the biggest retailers out there look at how to change their packaging, make, yes, things lighter, maybe even change trucks to make them more, aerodynamic. Right. All that stuff's capital intensive. That takes a long time to change your business practice. So how long before we really see control be reasserted?
Well, I think part of it is we're seeing the last 2 years been focused on innovation on new products. Not only is the food price commodities going up, but we've had two other factors. One is this whole issue on health and wellness and obesity control, and the other is on packaging redesign. We have the new nutritional content on the front of the packaging. So with package redesign, health and wellness redesign, and food prices, there's been a lot of innovation in the pipeline. And we're going to see some interesting new products come to restaurants, grocery stores, and from food manufacturers, again, this summer and this fall. So I'm actually optimistic that we'll be able to hit price points by new and improved and different types of products.
It just may not be until the fall that we see that.
We're seeing them in trickles right now. We're seeing them in trickles.
The USDA says they're seeing at least a 2 to 3% increase in pricing for dairy and for meat products. Is that about what you're seeing? Yeah,
there's no doubt that we're going to see food inflation of some level. It's not going to be horrendous in North America, but it's going to be food inflation. Some products have higher levels. I mean, if you're looking at beef prices, corn prices, wheat prices, they're much higher. Rice prices are much lower. So it really depends on the commodity and the food item. But yes, there will be general increases.
It seems the irony when you look at the global picture here is that part of this also has to do with greater wealth. That
yes,
there's more demand for food.
Yes. I mean, there's two things. Populations are growing in Asia and having more food to be consumed, but also the middle class in India and China are going up, and they're going to higher protein foods. So we're seeing they're eating more meat products, more pork, more chicken. Well, the pork takes 4 pounds of grain to feed 1 pound of pork, and 8 pounds of wheat to feed 1 pound of beef. That's a major conversion issue that's affecting agriculture worldwide.
We'll wait and see what the weather looks like in Russia, in China, here in
Canada,
the U.S.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, David, for giving us
Thank you, Margaret.
your perspective. Appreciate it.